Rise and shine, YouTube. Today we're going to talk about a few products that EspTiger sent out. We got two pads, the Yoshang V2, the Kingsoy 3 Special Edition. We got their sleeve, and we're going to talk about the Kyro skates. So let's start off with the sleeve. This isn't a seamless version, so if you're somebody that doesn't like the seam coming above their bicep and kind of squeezing it with different like moving your arm runabout like that, I would go with the seamless version. But this is the seamed one. I did fold it over to kind of just rest on the forearm. And I do think if they made a forearm version, it would be much better. Materials that it uses, it's a 87%, 87% nylon and 13% spandex. So it is not going to be like irritable to your skin. It's nice and breathable. You don't really notice it on your skin. It's nice and lightweight. So, and it also keeps your arm kind of cool, right? For it being pretty hot here in Florida. It is nice and cool on my arm. Don't notice it. Doesn't make my arm sweat. And on pretty much most cloth surfaces except the Heian, right? It's nice and open, right? So say if you're somebody that rests your forearm on the pads, vertical movements are nice. You don't get like that restricted feel if you just have your skin on it, right? So that will generally kind of cause a more controlled feel with vertical movements. Horizontal movements are nice, right? So you have a good, almost 100% frictionless feel on a lot of cloth pads. It feels better on the Kingsoy, but it's nice. Nice, open, good feel. Bada bing, bada boom. And it only runs at $9. So if you want a good, cheap arm sleeve without spending a bunch of money, boom, EspTiger's seamless, extended, or what I have right now is the compact. Now let's talk about the Kyro skates real quick. So the Kyro skates, I don't actually have them on me because I don't honestly know where I put them. I took them off the ZA because they're not my favorite, but we're going to talk about my experience with them versus full form. So you can tell that the Kyro skates are a skeleton kind of like outline. They are lighter weight than a full form, but with my experience with these, using them for a few weeks, the Kyro skates are more consistent than full form. They don't get as slow when you tense up a little bit like I do in games with tracking and stuff like that. Especially I notice it in Deadlock and the Kovac scenarios. I was doing that wall hack benchmark, and I noticed that the Kyro skates slowed down a little bit, but that versus full form, it didn't slow down as much when putting pressure down onto your mouse. So they're more consistent, they're slightly more open, not by much. That's why I still prefer dot skates on every pad that I use. But they are better than full form. So if you're somebody that does use Xsoft and you just can't use dots, and you want that good middle ground between openness and consistency and control, the Kyro skates are a good option, right? I didn't hate them. They're just not my favorite, and I just have been using dots for the longest time. And these only run you $8, right? So if you're somebody that uses any of these models, go for it. Try them out. They will definitely feel good. But for me, dot skates are the way to go. And lastly, let's talk about the pads. So we're going to start off with the Yoshang V2. This is my favorite one out of the two that I have got from them. This is a kind of like a carpety feel texture to it, but it's smooth. It's like a smooth carpet. There's not a aggressive texture behind it. It's not Heian-like or Atsu-like. It's just a more subtle, carpety, smooth feel to it. I didn't have any issues with any of the fabric coming up on the pad on your skin, and it's actually nice and it's non-irritable on the skin as well. Both pads have a 4mm base. The thickness, like if you press down like from the top, it is plusher than an Artisan Soft, right? By a decent amount. But I also didn't have any issues on just sinking my dots into this pad too much to where I bottom out the 2C or like the ATK mouse or the AIM 1 Shigeru, right? I don't have issues with bottoming out the mice, but the pads themselves, speed-wise, feel very, very good. I would put both of these pads in kind of like a balanced speed with a little bit of speed to them, right? The Yoshang is very consistent. So if you want a good balanced speed, nice balanced stopping power, right? There is no slipping on this pad. There is no crazy like slowdown to it, and direction changes are nice and open. I like kind of checking out to see if you move your mouse in like a horizontal and you just change it abruptly to go vertical. Some pads, like the Kingsoy, you'll see that initial response to that change is slightly tuggy and slow, right? If you're heavy-handed like me, you'll feel it. But with the Yoshang, it's very open. It's nice and consistent. You don't get that slowdown even with direction changes. So for $35, I mean, this would be a cloth pad that I keep in rotation, right? Because it's good. It's a good surface. It's a nice budget option for those who aren't looking to spend $50, $60, $70 on cloth pads. Yeah, there are $70 cloth pads, which honestly doesn't make sense. But this is a good pad to have if you're looking for good performance, if you're looking for a nice budget option. And a badass design. Like, EspTiger's dropped some of the coolest designs in my opinion, but the designs don't take away from that performance. So, good performance, good speed, what I like, doesn't have anything I don't like, bada bing, bada boom. And lastly, the Kingsoy Special Edition. Now, this pad was... It was good, but it wouldn't be something that beats the Yoshang for me, right? For me, initial movement is, once again, nice and quick. But this one has a little more control, in my opinion, right? Especially when you start putting a little weight behind your tracking, you get a little more tense, you will feel it slow down a little more versus the Yoshang. And like I was saying with the horizontal to vertical, it has that ever so slight slow response to that change in direction, which wasn't my favorite feel, right? I can feel that more in Kovacs versus just in standard games that I was playing. I don't like really testing stuff. I was only using Kovacs as like just seeing how high I can get up on the leaderboard and some of the benchmarks. But you can kind of really see what you're doing in tracking scenarios and stuff like that. But in different games and different just standard use, right? It felt pretty damn good. You know, target swapping in Battlefield, tracking in Deadlock, those have been my two primary like shooters, right? But I have been playing a lot of Arc Raiders. So, but my time with the, Kovacs and Battlefield and Deadlock, I didn't have an issue with it. Same base, same thickness, just different feel. This one is a lot smoother. It has more of a kind of like a silky smooth, but not Raiden-esque. It's like a different kind of smoothness to it. Doesn't feel like carpety. It's just a more finer, smooth texture to it. So non-irritable on the skin. It is more open on the skin versus the Yoshang, but with the sleeves, it still feels good. It's a little more open on sleeves as well, just because of the surface being a different kind of style to it. But like I said, nice balanced speed, more open. I feel like it can feel quicker at some points, but in general, this is a good balanced option with a nice control to it. So the Yoshang for me was a little quicker with less control and more consistency with tenseness on your glide, and the Kingsoy has just an ever so slightly more control behind your glide. With dots from Talon Games that I've been using, these are their dots that are designed for glass, but these are the speed options. Feel very good. The Silver Fox, I've been using these a lot. Actually feel nice. They do slow down a little bit, but it also is because this mouse is pretty much at about 60 grams, but it's still a good feeling pad. It definitely slows the pad down a little more, but it's not bad. Still consistent, nice, just with a slight more tenseness to it, you do have more control. So it's up to you. Both pads, $35, give you different surface feels, but you still get good performing pads at under $50, $60, $70. So kudos to EspTigers for making badass designs on pads that feel good, perform good, and just won't break the bank. So, love you guys. Rise up, God bless, and we'll see you for the next review.